most demanding markets. There's numerous times when our owner has cursed that why we are in Finland, because there are no markets for us. But we are learning from those. And we are not selling mobile apps, which we would just upload to the cloud or to some other servers and people would download them. We are like selling services to our networks. And that's why we also, for the start, we also had to make partnerships from international companies, because in Finland we didn't have the technology we needed. And of course, credibility. From the very start, Stereoscape has been a company that is presenting in English. So we already had that kind of international image. So it was easy decision to go outside of Finland. This is our growth model from now I have to check from my papers, because as you know, I started working in 2013 when I went back to China, but I started working at our Helsinki office 1 year ago. So in that way, I'm a bit newcomer still. So as I said, that the challenge is the product, what we are offering, because we are not selling mobile app, we are selling services, and that means we have to have face-to-face time with a client. That is so important when dealing with international business. Especially in China, I noticed this. If you send someone an email, they don't read it, or they read it but they don't understand it, or they don't care about it. That's why they must see your face and you in physical form. We cannot just send a holographic device which would communicate our message. We have to be there in person. So that's why in 2010, I think we opened an office to the UK. The reason why we wanted to go to the UK was that basically the main market in Europe is existing in the UK.
We don't block the screen.
Okay.
It's better.
Thank you. So in the UK, there are a lot of competition, a lot of international markets, and we made desk studies and we found benchmarks, and we wanted to be the same as in the UK. And also there was practical reasons, like in the UK it was easier to find short-term contracts for employees. And also our marketing study was supporting the selection of the UK. Then we opened an office in Sweden. Sweden is of course an obvious choice because it's our neighbor country. And there were also Finnish companies existing in Sweden or wanted to take a step to Sweden. So with our help in marketing, digital marketing, we created the need for them to enter Sweden. And we also selected Russia because we thought that Russians would like these luxurious new technology things. But to be honest, Russia has been a really challenging market for us. And I have dealt with some cases and I really have to just raise my arms up because it's really difficult when I'm not there and when I'm not speaking the language. Of course, we have our representatives in St. Petersburg and Moscow. Okay, so that's where we are. Why we are not in the Germany, for instance. Germany was, I think it was one of the options, but the main reason why we didn't go to Germany was that we really didn't have resources to do anything. We didn't speak the language. We could find Russian-speaking employees, but that would have taken too much effort.
German-speaking, you mean?
Yeah. I mean that we could find Russian-speaking for Russia, like more easily to from Helsinki.
Oh, you were talking about Germany?
Yeah, but the reason why we didn't go to Germany because we didn't found those employees that easily that would have been suitable for our company. And after
It's easier to find the Russians than the Germans.
Yes, in this case.
Okay.
And of course, you cannot, it's a financial thing that you cannot have them all. So after 2011, we accelerated by investing money on local partners from UK and Scandinavia. Let's see. And now 2014, we started working completely as an integrator. Before that, we also produced. As hopefully I mentioned, we started by producing 3D films. But now that's just one little option we can offer, because now we are a fully integrated integrator. Please. Oh, it's there. Our business model, a bit complex, or what do you think? Just for the heads up, I will also share this presentation with you. So if you are going to make notes for these, you don't have to.
Of course, if something additional comes to your mind, of course you can take it down.
So how did we do it? How did we went abroad? Study customer value networks. Follow the visionaries. This means that no one comes to tell us what is happening now. We always have to find it by ourselves. And actually, social media is a really good channel for this, because on YouTube, companies really post their new products in an engaging way. And when we see something that we could also do, then we really want to do it. And we want to offer the same kind of product to our clients. Track your competition. In Finland, we are one-of-a-kind company, I dare to say. But of course, now we are not competing in Finland only. So that's why we have a lot of international competitors. Be humble and learn. Share information. For a tip for students, I would say that your most important, when you think about networking, your most important partner sits next to you right now. And that's what I have learned, that it's so important to start building your network. And building your network, it doesn't mean that you have to have some really cool named guys from startups, from Silicon Valley. No, it's really important that you know each others who are in the same field as you are. Like, have fun together, be friends, and share your ideas. And when you enter the working life, you don't know what kind of opportunities your network can provide you. Okay, so Stereoscape was founded in 2008, I think, but basically 2010 was the first big thing for us. We got a deal to produce Scandinavian first 3D movie. And Oh, I guess I didn't say that we don't film in 3D, we convert from 2D to 3D. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier, but that's what we do. So, and the film was Muumipeikko ja Punainen pyrstötähti. So about Moomin trolls. And we thought that this is so fantastic, like this is the best possible thing that could happen to us. And we definitely want this project, and we got it. And after that, everything went wrong. So we could produce it, and the 3D conversion was top quality, not only in Scandinavia, but globally in the whole world. The premiere was in Cannes. There's always every year this festival in Cannes, and there was investors and other people who were interested about this film, our Moomi film. And when the film premiered, the guy who was handling the device to play the film, for some reason he didn't play it in 3D.
I read about it.
Yeah.
It was me who interviewed the guy that Tom, what was it?
What?
Yes.
That's interesting.
No, in the other.
Yes,
the
project.
first project.
Yes.
So, yes, I
Interview
remember
manager.
this. He told me about it.
So I have one assignment where they have to interview an art manager or someone from the culture
So we
field,
have
and
a blog post
yeah,
about
we
it,
have
actually.
we have written about it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
what happened? Tell us your side.
Yeah. So of course it was played in 2D, and of course there was another premiere in the same day because they fixed the problem by playing it in 3D later. But it didn't help us in a way because all the investors and other people, they had other plans. So we couldn't like switch the time back that now it's happening again. It happened already. Also, we encountered some other problems. We were the subcontractor, and we made a deal that we will get a commission from the sales. And Stereoscape was promised that the movie will go to China and to the US and to the many other countries. But it turned out that the Chinese were not interested of the movie. What are movies? Come on. And in the US, for some reason, or for many reasons, they didn't sell the movie there. Mainly it was for Scandinavia and for Japan. And then we also encountered some problems, some legal problems with the contracts. That the contract we signed and the contract some other partners signed later on, their contract took shares from our contract. And that's why it's so important to have your lawyers and legal persons to check every possible detail when doing some like really important contracts. This case with Moomins taught the company many things. Also, by the contract, we are not allowed to play it anywhere. We can of course say that we did it, but the problem is that no one basically haven't seen it, and we cannot show it. So there was a time for strategic redirection, since we thought that the hype will now like get us to the next level, but it didn't. There was no demand for 3D films after that in Finland. So then we started investing money for AS3D screens. AS3D screen is a screen where you watch 3D content without glasses. So glasses-free, naked eye 3D. After all, it didn't work. Time for next strategic redirection. We started experiential marketing and communication solutions, including video walls, holograms. And we made a lot of new partnerships, but still it wasn't enough. There was no markets for those products either. So our perspective got wider and wider, and soon, actually this doesn't even show what's happening now. So in 2014, this year, we have taken those augmented reality and 3D mapping and this kind of solutions. So actually, as the topic is there and back again, last year we did another movie conversion, and I was responsible for it partly. It was a Russian film called The Three Musketeers. And we were a bit skeptical because we have dealt with Russian markets, and we know that they are not that. What is being said doesn't always mean that it will happen. But we made a contract with them, and after all, we got the hard drive with the files that please convert this to 3D. We checked it, and it turned out that it's not the final hard drive because it had some schemes which definitely were meant for the final release. And the problem with conversion is that you really have to have the final material to start converting. If you add something afterwards, it will ruin it. And we had a really strict deadline, and they didn't communicate with us. They didn't answer to anything. We just had this hard drive with files that we couldn't convert. Then, when the deadline was almost passed, they sent us another hard drive with final material. And then we started converting it. And our conversion partner, who is in Japan, didn't sleep for 2 months because the premiere was in 2 months and 1 day. And it was a horrible, but after, when this process started, let's say 3 weeks after, our client informed us that please come to Helsinki-Vantaa airport. I went there. I met a fine-looking lady who gave me a trash bag, and I took a look. She didn't speak English. There was a hard drive. I took it back to the office, and this is the final version of the movie. But we cannot convert it anymore. We have started the process. So we said to them that we cannot accept this. Everything will be ruined. So you really have to accept the version you have given us and promised us that that's the final version of it. So what happened afterwards? Well, the most important thing that we got paid. The company wasn't destroyed. But the sad thing is, and I'm really ashamed because of this, is that in Russia, they played the 3D film partly in 2D, and because they wanted to add those scenes what were not included to the final version of the movie. And it got terrible reviews, of course, when people go to see a 3D film with glasses and suddenly it's 1/3 of it is in 2D. So yeah, we turned back to converting 3D films also, but this project wasn't good either. Well, one good thing about conversion projects is that this year we started converting cinema advertisements. And if you go to Finkino Cinema to see a 3D film, you will see one 3D advertisement for Tupla chocolate bar, and it's converted by us, and it's amazing. It looks so beautiful. Good thing that we.
You're proud of this.
I'm really proud of it. It's
Good.
only 10 seconds, but it's the best 10 seconds of your life. But still, the problem remains the same. There are no market for 3D conversion. Now we really try to get business for advertisement in cinemas, because that's a pretty obvious way to display 3D content. Before the 3D film, you will see a commercial in 3D. but the advertisers, they don't get it
Yet.
They see only as like money loss. Why should they pay for 3D when they can have the advertisement in 2D? Of course, we have made a lot of studies that 3D increases your memorability. You will remember the advertisement better. And in Finland, where there are no 3D advertisement, you definitely will remember the advertisement because it plays right after the movie starts.
Before the movie starts, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Right before the movie starts. So this is where we are. And in London, we have subsidiary. We didn't want to open a subsidiary there, but in 2010, when we were working for another conversion project, the Englishmen said that they are not dealing with any company who is not based in the UK. So that's why we also opened a subsidiary in London. But actually the first year was really successful. We made deal with local universities, with companies like British Gas. And what I told you about the network, that's, for us, this is the most important thing we have. And this mentions some companies from Europe, but this isn't even updated. You could almost double this. And as you see, there's also China mentioned. There's My Shenzhou Productions and Fudan University. Since I started working in Helsinki for Stereoscape, we have done at least 2 or 3 cases with Shenzhou Productions. So I'm really glad that I can still provide them business while staying in Finland and working for another company. Driving organic growth. If we think about the conversion, what is our value proposition is that it should be really easy and flexible for the client. Just give us the material you want to convert. We take care of everything. We deliver the material converted. You don't have to take care of anything else. And we try to make everything as easy as possible when it is augmented reality or holographic devices. And here you see basically what happened. So we started with the inner circle. We started with 3D production services. We tried with film producers, then classes free 3D creative agencies, and now we are working with brands. But we always grow to a new segment. This isn't just 3 layers, it will be more layers in the future.
It could be destinations. Many destinations now also use augmented reality. And if you think that this could be a possibility.
That is true. And it requires a lot of footwork to get sales. No one is calling us and telling that I have money, what can I get? No one does that. We have to call companies, we have to contact companies, and it's hell of a lot of work we have to do to receive a bit of money for something. And for our internalization process, Finpro, Tekes, and VTT, VTT, Valtion Tutkimus, oh my God, what is it, VTT? You know VTT. They have been really helpful for us. And of course, OKM, Finnish Ministry of Culture and Education, has given us money to build our network and our subsidiaries to Europe. But currently, cold calling is something what is really valuable. And not many people like to do cold calling. you know what cold calling is. You pick up the phone, call to a person who doesn't know you, and he doesn't want the product you are selling. And in our case, it's really difficult because we have a product what no one have heard of. How could they want it? So challenges: is there a demand for your product or your service? Is your value proposition compelling and competitive? What is the correct timing? For now, it seems that we have been always ahead of our time, and we still are. But as a startup, we cannot be too late. That's why we always must be a bit of ahead. But of course, it's quite critical now that is the demand starting in Finland or not? Why our headquarters are still in Helsinki when we are doing the business outside of Finland? Do you use local or foreign salespeople? How committed is your management? Okay, I think the rest are a bit basic questions to challenge you. Well, of course, this isn't a sad story, but I have been telling you. We have encountered many problems, and we still encounter many problems, but we have made success also. We are now a truly multinational and multidisciplinary team. 3D is our door opener since the very beginning. We have successfully built brands for Wärtsilä, Samsung, Tesco, Fazer, Rovio, and so on. And China has been, before me, Stereoscape wanted to enter the Chinese markets. And we haven't done much, but at least we have started something, right?
And I don't know if you mentioned in the beginning, but you were living in Beijing for a year.
Yes.
Do you have some contacts there that did you use for Stereoscapes?
Yeah. And what else?
And you speak some Chinese, or you use?
Yeah. Actually, when I went to China, I just went there. I didn't learn the culture or the language or whatsoever. And of course, it was a bit shock to be there. But I learned the language in the way that I can say what I want or what I don't want. I can create a small talk with people. But unfortunately, I have lost that skill because for over a year, I haven't talked in Chinese to anyone. And
80% revenue from exports, you mentioned.
Yeah. And 2 European feature-length films converted into 3D, what I mentioned. But what is also interesting that our conversion service is rated among top 3 globally. That means that we are in the same league as the big Hollywood conversion companies.
So your competition comes from USA mainly, or what are your competitors?
Yeah, mainly they are, and that is a big challenge. Like we have a document that says that this third party has reviewed our conversion quality as top 3 globally. This is as good as any conversion film you can get from Hollywood. We are much more cheaper than those Hollywood companies. They are, of course, the headquarters are in LA or somewhere else, but the labor is done in India by thousands hands.
And your main conversion partner is in Japan?
Yes.
And it still is cheaper than the Hollywood that use Indian workforce?
Yeah. With the Japanese partner, we have created our conversion technology at Aalto University. Mm-hmm. And it's really academic, and it's done by professors and another academic people who are responsible for creating the conversion. And what they have done, it's really
high quality.
It's really high quality, yes. I can soon show you. Okay, let's get over with this. So summary, experience as service business model. Humble, persistent work to gain credibility, no fast prices. You have to train to market and build the platform. The second last one, start with a simple pilot project and then add more complex modules. Now what we are doing with the new technologies, as in augmented reality, we are trying to find a pilot as for the wristwatch, what most likely will happen. Be well prepared, but it's also a leap of faith. So now I can show you an example from earlier this year. I got this idea that I want us to convert 2001 A Space Odyssey, avaruusseikkailu 2001, directed by Stanley Kubrick in 1960s. I cannot face the Hollywood people in Finland, and we didn't have resources to send me for this one-man crazy mission to meet the guys. So I made lots of work to get known to the right people who know the people who know the people and so on. But after all, I met from Fox Studios the guy who is responsible for if this conversion project would happen, because they are the owner of the film. So after I had talked with him and I made him the proposal. During that time, Gravity was running in theaters. Have you seen Gravity, the film? Have you seen it in 3D? They say it's the best 3D movie ever done so far. And the 3D was amazing, but I really hated Gravity. It's a terrible movie. The story is like, Anyway, the story of Gravity. I think the most interesting thing is what the director said, Alphonse Cuarón. Most 3D films are crap. What he means is that like there shouldn't be a 3D film because 3D is cool or whatsoever. If 3D really like fits in the storytelling of the film, then it can benefit a lot. But too many times 3D films are like trying to cash, to get easy money by just being 3D. And the director also said that 2D version of Gravity is just 30% of the experience when compared to the 3D version. Only 30. That's how big impact the 3D is in Gravity. Then I said some good things about Space Odyssey. Also, it has been a trend that older movies, like starting from 1930s, are now being converted to 3D and shown in cinemas. So it's not that revolutionary if Space Odyssey would be converted to 3D. And Gravity was shot entirely in 2D and converted to 3D. There was no 3D cameras whatsoever when they filmed Gravity. So basically, we just do the same treatment for Space Odyssey, what they did for Gravity, what is the best 3D movie of all time. There's no real difference between like native 3D and 3D conversion anymore.
There's no?
Not anymore.
Okay.
So how would Space Odyssey benefit from 3D conversion? I really love the movie, and I have told the guy these things before, but I wanted just to highlight some things, how it would work. And some nice words about our conversion. And I gave him an offer. Oops, not in here.
But if it's...
Yes.
Yeah, we shouldn't, perhaps. Sure.
Were you asking something?
Yeah, we shouldn't show them perhaps something if that's a confidential offer. Or...
No, this isn't confidential anymore.
Okay.
So we proposed for $16,000 per minute. And I quoted this, what I found from internet. But he didn't feel it. After all, he didn't even answer me. I don't know what happened. But that's how we deal with Hollywood people. We cannot deal with them. We have tried numerous times, but it just doesn't happen.
You have to be persistent. One day.
Yeah. But now we are putting our resources to another projects. So, what is the time now? 1:20.
Yeah, 10 more minutes. Maybe we can take questions if you're done.
Yeah, please, if you have questions, I can also share the thing I promised you to tell you about China, but yes.
How long do you think will the, let's say, life cycle of this market take to reach its climax of demand? And
For which service?
for the 3D, the movie, the demand for 3D movies and the conversion from 2D to 3D?
That is interesting question, and I think it will now, because now in Europe and in the United States, it's not growing anymore. But in Asia, there's a huge demand.
Because I was thinking of the new technologies coming in, such as like the Oculus Rift. Heard about this?
Yes.
I do imagine there is a point not so far from now in which movies will be developed in that way. So how